Oh, I thought that would never end. Jesus. So guys,
Damn, who cut off the jams?
I'm sorry, man. I couldn't help it. It only lasted 2.5 minutes. Welcome to a very special episode of Critical Builds, where, as the title card says, we are going to be looking at some of the clean entries of the Clean versus Weathered build-off that USA Gundam Store and ZakuAurelius both graciously hosted. So we have quite a bit to go through today. I don't think we're going to be able to get through them all, but we are going to definitely try to get through as many as possible. So we're going to go through a quick roundtable of everybody that's here, and then we will go ahead and start looking at all of these great builds. So let's start with. I'm just gonna go in order now.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Critical Builds. Glad to be here. I can't wait to look at all this goodness. There's some good entries here.
Thank you, Julio.
You're welcome.
Always a pleasure, Kai.
I know we got to move.
I know.
We got stuff to go through, man.
Yeah, we do. All right. Next up, we got.
Hey guys, glad to be here. Yeah, less looky, more talky.
Yeah. And then we got the Batcave for some reason.
I'm Batman.
Bruce Wayne.
What up, guys?
What are you doing in the Batcave?
Where are we fighting? Let's get this thing started, man. Hey guys, I'm Z. Happy to be here, and let's check out some builds.
And then finally, we have our two very special guests coming right here. First guy is we'll start in height order.
Hello.
And finally, we got ZakuAurelius.
We're both already bored. Come on.
All right, man. Damn. Okay. Anyway, look, I didn't take like an hour and a half introducing everybody last night. Okay, so
that was not Tim's fault. That was not. Tim's fault.
We had fun. That was John Lynn's fault. Shut up.
Yes, exactly. That was
fun watch. Absolutely a fun watch. Okay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started here with our first clean entry. So I know Adam and Zach managed to get through. Did you guys get through the D's at least, right?
No, through the C's.
Through the C's. Okay, so I missed. Yeah. So we're gonna have to go through the D's at some point because I completely missed those out.
Yeah,
so
we got to get the D's at some point.
Yeah, we'll go through the E's for now, and then we'll
Skis.
we'll see what we can do about those. So starting off with this build, Mr. Elliot Clems. Who wants to start us off?
That's nice. I like the color blocking looks really good. Maybe the black's a little too stark, or is it a dark gray? Maybe a lighter gray.
This is one of those ones where the photos are like, I don't know if it's flash or, but some parts are super bright and it's very dark.
Overexposed.
Yeah.
I'm getting weird vibes from it, though.
Huh?
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm getting weird vibes from that weight of the pigment and the gold. But what were you going to say, Tim?
Yeah. No, a lot of these, a lot of the entries that I saw were not helped by the dark background color. This one is not helped. This one is not helped by the black background. Or is the photography in general? That was an issue with a lot of them. Yeah. There were so many that had just a black background, and it didn't help. Trust me, boys, it did not help.
Yeah. The one thing to note, guys, if you're going to use a dark background, you got to have some separation of your subject from that background. And I think that's kind of what you guys are complaining about, that it just fades right into the black.
Yeah. You got to think about it this way. You're taking a kit, right, that has black pieces, and then you put it on a black background, and then you overexpose it. Because you do definitely have some overexposure here. You're going to first of all drown out any hope of detail you got, and then as Tim says, the black background is just not going to do you any favors.
Yeah.
Could you imagine how blown out the white parts would have been though if you picked a white background?
It doesn't even have to be a white background.
You can add a soft light to the background, and that'll help change it up a little bit.
Yeah, something bouncing off.
Is there a gradient of the gold on the wings, or is that just a photo? It looks like you're right.
Yeah, it's a gradient.
Yeah, there's definitely a gradient. I noticed also some pre-shading in certain parts.
Yeah,
right here on the top of the wing, and then like a yellow.
That looks all pretty well.
Yo, those two scenes are killing me. Killing me hard.
I don't remember enough about the kit, but I would figure that those are like panel lines there, molded panel line to hide the seam.
Yeah,
around it. Yeah,
so, looks like they were.
But yeah, it looks like a massive seam. Yeah.
Yeah, were they done over in white, like with that a light panel line wash?
I believe so.
I can't tell. So
it looks like
that's
on the
that
gold
stands out. Like on the gold, that just stands out so much.
Oh yeah.
Maybe yeah.
I was thinking those two cannons because they're clamshell. Like, oof.
Now, did he do something special to the eyes right here? You guys see this?
It looks like just a reflection. As far as
is that just a reflection? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it.
That would have been a really interesting look. Just thinking. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just there are some things to work on, I'd say. So.
Agreed.
Creatively, it's really nice.
Yeah.
And like Julio said at first, I think the color choices and the color placement is pretty good. Fits pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a good flow, right? Like, the one problem that I saw with a number of entries is the color flow was kind of all over the place. But this one, I feel like it didn't really have that issue.
The one thing that I would maybe change would be to have the thighs not in black, the thighs in white. I think just the black on like the shoulders and the torso and like a little bit on the hip section is kind of enough, like on the top half, and then just have the legs kind of all white would have been nice for the nice silhouette of those. It's got some nice legs on that kit.
Yeah.
It's got some legs on it, baby.
Good God.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So Elliot, man, good job. Hopefully for your next build off or your next competition that you enter, you'll take what we said.
Yeah, definitely. It was a solid one.
Yeah, definitely one of the solid. Definitely a solid entry right there.
Yeah, dramatically transformed from the base kit just through color. It looks really like such a different piece. And it's a standout.
Get a different presence,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next up we've got Mr. Eric Castro with his RX-78 Vert KA.
There's a lot of great RX-78 love in the contest. I'm happy about that.
You love to see it too. Like it was, and it was nice that it was different variations of the RX-78, right? It wasn't just it wasn't just a PG Unleashed or something. It was like this one's the VKA. You had the Origins at some point. You had the 3.0. It was great. It was really nice to see.
It's solid work, man.
Is this a painted build?
It is a painted.
Wow.
So if you
You
see
can tell
look
that
at first
the
one-
yellow is much different from the original yellow.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to see on the Verka to see the yellow in that kind of like pure yellow, which looks like it's maybe painted over gray primer. So it always gets that kind of little bit of green kind of tint to it when you paint yellow over green over a gray.
Yeah, it's almost bordering safety yellow, right?
Yeah.
I definitely, for the Verka, I definitely prefer that kind of more orangey yellow. But
me too.
it doesn't look bad. It's well applied too, anyway.
I really like the photography on this one. Like nice natural light. One pose to really help you look at the detail. He had some artsy shots, but even then, that still helped kind of, got you looking at different parts of the kit that you wouldn't have if it was posed a different way or anything like that. And
Good cloud coverage.
I kind of liked and like totally didn't mind the shot where he's holding it in his hand too. I mean, because you could clearly see the kit. I mean, you can see the kit well under the light. So, I mean, some people like hate when you take a picture of a kit like in your hand, but at least for our judging purposes, you can see it well at least.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I'll see this as like an overarching comment for everybody who entered this composition. Like if you're entering the clean, like a clean build, always consider texture, the finish, the texturing of your finish. I noticed a lot of entries, just the texturing was off, and it really didn't do you any favors in terms of giving that clean interpretation, right? This one definitely pulled it off. You can see there isn't much texturing all over the place. I mean, since it's white, it's very difficult to see. But even on the blue, it's not so bad. On the red, it's nice and smooth. It's a smooth finish. There's little to no texturing on that surface, and that's a very important thing. And that was one of like maybe the main things I personally, as a judge, I was looking at.
I'll just say one more thing too about the colors, and it's probably most clear in that shot where he's holding it in his hand. If you want to go back to that for a second, Chris, that it looks airbrushed as far as I can tell, but it looks like maybe he's just using like just the colors straight out of the bottle or something. Where the blue, like I mentioned before, the yellow, it would be nice if it was a little bit more orange, and the blue is like a little bit dark on there. It looks like. So I would recommend for him in the future to start experimenting with custom mixing the paint a little bit. If you're airbrushing, it's easy enough to do.
A little bit
instead of relying on just whatever is out of the bottle to really kind of get the exact color that you want to go for. You can have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. And then, you did pay a lot of attention to some of the details. I mean, this, in terms of cleanliness, you've got it down. Just some of the smaller details you might want to kind of pay closer attention to, like the eyes right here are kind of blotchy and almost non-existent in that black, and it's just it kind of gets lost in everything, and just remember those little details because people will, or judges will look at that and put that into consideration.
Yeah, looks like there's a little bit of silvering on some of the decals too, but that's a little top coat, a little more top coat. We're not silvering, but you can see the edge. Yeah.
I feel like the biceps and the thighs are missing one decal each.
Like a warning, right?
Interesting. There is the rest of the model does have an even amount of decals. It isn't like over marked per se.
I think it's a nice balance, right? I feel like
just one somewhere.
Just one.
Just somewhere. Because it's a lot of barren space, like it does show off the paintwork really well, though, since it's so, just paint.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Just like one decal somewhere.
Yeah, I have to agree with Zach too that blue is just like a little bit too dark. If it was a little bit lighter, you'd get more of the shape out in the shadow. Like in this is not a poorly lit picture, but because the blue is so dark, you lose a lot in the shadow. At least to me.
Yeah. I mean, that can be a very subjective thing as to how dark or light you want to make the color, but I think just kind of to fit the look of the suit. I mean, if you're going for the original color scheme like that, I don't know. I just think that it would have looked a bit nicer.
It gives it a darker tone. You know what I mean? Like overall, since it's such a central color.
Especially with how light the yellow is set inside there, like the chest vents.
Yeah, and that white all looks really like very bright as well. If it was like maybe mixed up with some of the gray toning you see, or like off-white toning you see in a lot of models, it might offset some of the dark tones from the solid color.
Right on, man. Yeah. So
Good
what
job.
was this again? Yeah, Elvin Castro. Well done,
Good
dude.
stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Nice
Super,
and clean.
super clean. Man.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we got
So
Mr. Yeah,
You're
go
gonna
ahead.
have time to answer questions because Anna has one for you.
So Anna says, so hand painting, there will be more texturing.
Yeah, hand painting you'll get more brush streaks, depending how many layers you put on and the paints you use, and there's a lot of variables, but there will be more texture there.
Yeah, I'm not a hand painter per se. I like my airbrush, but I know that there are people that can hand brush paint without any streaks, which is amazing to me.
Yeah. A good flat coat afterwards will try to like melt everything down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a hand painter. I think I do it here and there, but it is going to you need to be a heck of a lot more patient with your layering and all that stuff if you're hand brushing.
Layers.
Yeah, but yeah, good question, Anna. Thank you. All right, so next one we've got Emmanuel Mateo with his Sinanju.
Whew. Candy.
It's the Verka, right?
Yeah. So this is one of the ones where I thought the photography didn't help you out at all.
Yeah.
The photography was seeming to want to showcase the LEDs like just as much as anything, which was not really a part of the judging.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they were a little overpowering too because they caused everything else to be in shadow, which defeats the purpose.
Yeah, you can't see the model.
The candy laid down nice though.
Yeah, it looks smooth for what it's worth.
That's kind of the issue, right? Like, I mean, I know. Zach was pretty clear about what the goal of the competition was, and this was, I mean, but clearly a paint competition, right? You're here to paint it, and you either make it a dirty build or you make it a clean build. But it was at its core a painting competition, and while the LEDs are a nice touch, it's a beautiful addition, and all that stuff. That's kind of, we had to kind of push that aside and look at, okay, so how was the painting done? How was it laid down? What was the final finish? And these photographs just hardly showed any of that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great for Instagram, not for a contest.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
True.
Like we were saying on the weather judging the other day, and then with Adam the other day too, kept bringing that up that you need to take your Instagram photos and your judging photos separately for us on our end, because I mean, it's a cool photo there. The eye lit up like that. There's not much we can do with that as far as judging
you
goes.
can't really judge much. You can only see part of the gun, and that's it.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, the gun is painted.
Right.
But I mean, Julio was right. I mean, from the photos that we could see, it looked like the overcoat was laid down very well.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the only kind of
that's the best
image
photo of that paint job.
You could judge it from. You could look at this and go, okay, so this is what we are needing to see. So let's look at it from this angle, and this is the only. This is it.
I'm not sure, but is the top of the left hand not painted?
It kind of looks like that, eh?
Right?
On the field arm, yeah.
Like, it
Looks a
doesn't.
little bit different. Could just be the reflection, but yeah.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it looks different. It looks crazy right there. Man, you got some speckling in there though. I think you zoomed in.
oh yeah, yeah, dusty.
Yeah, dude, you got to dust it off before you take some photos, or maybe that got into your,
I think
your
some
top
of that's in
coat.
the paint. Yeah.
Could be, yeah. Could be, yeah.
Oh, that's always such a heartbreaking thing to see when you're trying so hard to get something that's super smooth and glossy like that, and you come back to it and it's like, what happened?
Here's a really quick tip from a Japanese builder I follow named Tak S. I think that's his YouTube name. He did a super glossy build of a SD Nightingale, and he got like a couple of hairs and a couple of dust pieces on the shoulder, and all he did was just wet sand that with a 4,000 to 5,000 grit sanding sponge, and then just hit it again with the base coat and then a gloss coat. He just made sure that the layers were nice and flat and even, and it looked like he didn't have anything on there at all.
Nice, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
It's always great when a save actually works out and doesn't just ruin it.
Look just as bad or whatever.
Yeah, man. That's such a good
so Emmanuel, if you ever decide to jump into another competition, man, just remember, people are wanting to look at your kit. The LEDs and the gimmicks are great. But just make sure that the main focus is always going to be the build. From what we can see, it was definitely a nice build. But
LEDs look great.
Yeah, we definitely need to see more.
Yeah, no, as a weather builder, I definitely suffered from the level of customization that I put into my stuff, because I spent way more time customizing the model than I spent actually painting and putting finish work into it. Like I maybe spent like 2.5 weeks finishing all of it, and the rest of that time was all built, and that's not the contest. So I wasn't building necessarily for the contest, which is a mistake. If you want to try and do well in the contest, you try to do the contest.
Yeah.
So Gumpo Pool, I don't know who that is. Has a question. How do you guys feel about contest picks with action bases?
It depends on the contest. For this particular one, it wouldn't bother me at all. It's not really the focus. If it was like a photography contest, then a lot of times action bases can be kind of ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna, like Zach said, if it's a photography competition, find a way to dress it up. But I mean, in here, I barely noticed anything that was holding up the kit. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah. As a general rule, I think at least go for a vignette of some kind if you're going to be entering in any kind of contest. Something to kind of give some cohesivity.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that was allowed. I mentioned that I think in the judging, especially like for the weathered side, because I know that like for weathered you really kind of need that even more so. But yeah, vignettes were allowed. I just encourage people not to do like any sort of like full-on diorama or anything.
Yeah, there's been a lot of impressive diorama work in your past contests, at least the stuff that I've seen. So.
Yeah.
All right. So next up we have Eric, no last name. Eric Nelms, I think is his last name. I just saw the photo, so let's go ahead and get on that.
Ooh.
Oh yes, this one. Yeah, I loved the weapons on this one. They're really cool looking.
I like the color choices. Green.
So this was just a regular force impulse, right? Or sword impulse.
Sword impulse. And he added the Gatlings.
I actually didn't really like this build.
No?
I said I liked it.
Oh.
I liked it, but like I said, it was just missing like a finish.
Yeah, exactly. The weapons, and I think like overall the kit is very cool. It's just not very clean, so it couldn't finish very well in this particular contest. But it's a really cool work that he's done on the kit, aside from the finish. Yeah.
I also didn't like the contrast between the two greens.
The colors themselves, I do enjoy, but the placement maybe not so much.
I think he basically just stuck to. Someone might have to pull it up, but it's not the sword impulse. What's the other one? With the cannons, the blast impulse, the green one, the blast impulse. I think he basically stuck to like the same as far as like where the colors are placed. He went with a little bit different color of green, but they're basically in the same placement. I think for the most part. Except for maybe like the ankle armor, I don't think is green in that kit. So maybe a little bit more green on his, but Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you see there. I mean, you could
Parts are very dark too.
you could put this in the weathered category, and like it was just missing that clean finish. Like it had like some streaking, some staining at some parts. I don't know if he had done that on purpose, but
Oh yeah.
it looked more to me than anything, right?
Yeah, there's some rough bits. It just seems like
Yeah, it does look like there's a
Are
bit of
those
weather.
gold parts cracked?
Yeah.
could very well be. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they look almost symmetrical, the cracks,
Yeah.
but yeah, could very well be. Yeah.
Tim, the people
Well,
want to
even
know
the
what you
same
think.
point.
So was Chris.
This one suffers from the black background syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it any justice. I'm sorry.
It needs a little
It's
softer
just-
on the shoulder decals too.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. Are those stickers or those water slides?
They look like stickers.
They look
They
Are
do.
they? I
Yeah.
couldn't tell because the one on the other side had a weird like seam on it, like almost like it was a decal.
Eric says, yeah, he's in the chat. He says they're stickers.
Oh, okay, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you can. I've done a thing where you can hide those using this stuff. Hang on.
Broken.
Soft gel medium. This stuff
Mm.
is a dry as clear, and it's a little bit thick. It has a little bit of a body. You can put a nice thin layer of that over your sticker. It will not change the surface texture of anything except that it will hide the edge. So I made a video 3 or 4 years ago about that, but it was way back when I was first doing videos.
When he was
Eric
just a wee
says
blind.
Eric says he used softer on it. I'm sorry, Eric, but that's not going to work on
It's not going to
stickers.
do it.
Yeah.
Feel your pain, bro. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Won't
Those
go.
those only work on water slides,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
so the softer is it's supposed to melt the film that the decal is placed upon.
The carrier
Since this is placed upon something completely different, that's not going to work.
Yeah, softer's not going to have enough chutzpah, and if it had enough chutzpah, it'd probably melt the plastic that the sticker was on too.
Completely.
So,
Yeah.
or your paint at the very least.
and guys, I know there's people.
Gotta love
asking,
chutzpah.
We started with E, right? So
We started with EES.
Yeah.
So when I downloaded the submissions, I had forgotten that Zach would say the C's but not through the D's. But we'll try to get through. I'll try to download the D's while we're talking about like a submission or an entry, and then we'll see if we can get to them. Or, we're trying to get through these. We're already almost 30 minutes through, so doing what we
Get
can.
these.
The D's, yes.
Yeah, I do enjoy the addition, like the basher. Really nice.
Yep.
Good
Yeah.
forms.
What are?
Those
I mean, are
Gatling.
those? Luckily, Eric's in the chat. He can answer for us. But are those like Gatling guns from anything? They look just maybe scratch built because I don't really recognize what that would be. Maybe some parts of it are from some different things, but
Yeah, the back throws me off because I mean I've seen Gatling sets, but I've never seen Gatling sets with anything like this in the back.
yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like the barrel slide through the forearm mount, like the Gatling barrel slides forward and back.
He said they're scratch built.
Mm.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
impressive, dude. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good work.
Good.
Very, very, very good
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
that's awesome. So yeah,
One thing that I would say about this is that Eric, focus next time on your next build. Focus on your basics. Leave the funky scratch building for some other project. Focus on basics, because there's texture on a lot of the paint. Pabs, go back a photo or so. Keep going. No, I don't know. No, keep going. It's the.
You
Jesus.
zoom into a chest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. you
No,
zoomed into
well,
it.
okay, so so there's texture, obviously, stickers, just not gonna stickers unfortunately just not gonna cut it. Just you gotta the basics, and this is an all-encompassing statement that I'm about to say. With a clean build, you can't hide. There's nothing you can hide in a clean build. So as long as you focus on your basics, and you get those down first, then go into the funky scratch building, then go into the customization, then go into all of that. But the basics always need to come first, because if those aren't there, the great scratch building that you did isn't going to matter.
And I know a lot of the guys here do this too, as well as Kyle. I know he's in the chat somewhere. It's very easy to kind of go absolutely wild with the ideas and the design thoughts and all that stuff. If you're that type where you just start to get very excited about what you're going to build for this competition or this build off or whatever, write what you're going to do down, but make sure you write down the basics that you need to do first before you start getting into the more intricate stuff, because it's very easy to get excited and then just completely forget about the basic, the very bare bones things that you need to do first. So write it down, make a list, check it off whenever you do it, and it'll help remind yourself on what you're needing to do next, or what you may have missed, and so on.
Yeah, I agree. It's not just an action item thing. It can be like help you rein yourself in.
Yes.
See how much work you have to do.
Right.
I don't know if you did it, but I hope you were wearing gloves every time you handled something like this, that you want super, super clean, because your finger oils, the rubbing, everything is going to pop on a clean build.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, like the actual work ahead of painting, cleaning up the nubs and stuff like that, I mean, not really seeing any of that. It really just seems like the actual just application of the paint. So I don't know if it's Eric's. I would assume it's not his first time painting, but he might still be quite new just to painting in general. So it almost looks that it's done with spray can as well too. Maybe he can answer that for us if this is airbrushed or spray can. But just the look of the paint looks like it's maybe from spray can. So I would, if that's the case, recommend to try airbrushing too. It'd be
possible.
Easier to get a nicer finish.
Mm-hmm.
But but
those
dude,
guns are nice, man.
Yeah, your scratch building skills are very good, man. Oh,
Yeah,
and
He
it's,
said,
real
he said
nice.
they're 3D printed. He said those are 3D printed.
Oh, you hand brushed all this?
Oh, it's a hand brush. Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
only thing that was sprayed was primer and top coat.
Mm.
Nice. This is good for hand painting.
Yeah,
You're getting airbrushed. Yeah, I think.
So, what was it? Honor Frame asked earlier, in terms of like hand brushing and getting that texture, clean. I mean, this might be a good example of the different steps that you have to take, right, to get that finish.
That's pretty fucking smooth.
yeah, that's not bad, man.
You can kind of see it in the arms on the backpack. You can kind of see the brush strokes a little bit, but but that's just part of the game, especially when you're doing metallics. It's hard to do that, and if you're trying to do like a dry brush or something like that, that doesn't always work out as easily as you might think it will, unless you have a ton of practice. So practice.
Yes. Okay. So while everybody was out and talking about Eric's build, which Eric, well done, I managed to grab the D's. So before we go into these, we're gonna go ahead and finish up with not finish up, but get the D's out of the way, because I know there's
D's.
Yes. There's a couple of them in the chat kind of going what happened to the D's. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So the first one here is by David Holshevnikov.
Mm-hmm.
Got that right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know Shaka is in the chat asking about. He asked about that, but his should be in the P's, so it's a long way from now here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Alex. Ooh, fancy.
I love the colors.
Yeah, it's nice.
I do like the color swap. It is good. That's a good pastel.
Yeah. So this is one of the ones where the photography helped him out greatly, using a neutral white background with the colors that he used. Well done, dude. Well done. Nice and focused. And I say this. I don't say this in every Critical Builds episode, but in most of them, if you are working extremely hard, putting 100% in your builds, why wouldn't you represent your build in the absolute best way possible? And this guy did it.
Don't take potato pictures.
spend some time. It doesn't. You don't have to have the newest, the best DSLR mirrorless camera. You can absolutely use your cell phone and get some decent photographs if you just spend a little bit of time and a little bit of research and see if you can get it the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, these
I really
decals look amazing.
Yes.
Gotta say, would have liked a little. No offense, now this is just my personal opinion. I would have liked a little bit of panel accenting because I feel like you're losing a little bit of detail in those wonderful shoulder vents and the chest vents and stuff that could have been popped with a little bit of an off color or like a complementary color panel wash because you did it everywhere else.
So for such a blocky kit that the Alex is, I don't mind it. You know what I mean? It's
look. Yeah, the Bandai's Alex is not very high on my list. Zach knows this.
The colors soften the edge of the block. It doesn't feel as angular as it should.
No, yeah, definitely the colors help this kit out a lot because I also find the kit kind of ugly, but
yeah, and its original color scheme, the Alex is quite garish.
Yeah.
Wow, Pabs with the words.
I have a dictionary like up here, just taped up here.
Pabs is projected on his wall, and it's like reading algorithms from a chip in his brain.
Just word of the day toilet paper.
No, he's got a copy of my shirt. Sorry.
So one thing, stay right here, Pabs. One thing that I like about the photography here is you see the reflection at the bottom?
Yes.
Nice use of plexiglass or glass or whatever that is. It just gives it that nice subtle little reflection there. Not to say that helped or hindered in any way in terms of the judging, but still it's a nice touch in terms of model photography. I like the colors, even though I don't like the colors. Like it wouldn't be, and let me explain. Like I wouldn't have chosen those colors, but in this particular combination and everything, I mean they're pretty nice. Yeah, they're pretty nice. I see what he's going for. I like it.
As far as let me just say one thing real quick just about the photography. I just want to say that while the photography and everything is really nice, just a couple of them like this one could also be cropped a little bit. There's just a lot of empty space that just for the judging, we don't really need that. If it's just closer, it's better.
Yeah,
it's true. So he is actually in the chat right now. He says, I wanted to go with a Vaporwave 90s pastel-y look with a kit that has that style of design. I will say this much, dude. Like, I think you nailed it. In terms of the style you were going for, the colors I think were very complementary to one another. You're very pale green, the green, and then that very pastel red. It's a gorgeous style. But I feel like, and again, I don't want to say this is personal preference. I just feel like this would have been better on a different kit.
Oh, the style or the colorway,
maybe.
Or I know for the Alex it may not be a good fit, but for this particular style it would be nice to see it up in on action base in like a kind of flying, not like necessarily flying or like floating kind of pose anyway.
Sure, a little more dynamics.
Yeah, still neutral, but just
vapor wavy, you think kind of like floaty kind of thing, right? And just having this standing on the ground seems so grounded. It's kind of against that kind of feeling.
Yeah, and again, here's another great example of just great finish, right?
Yeah, solid.
Paying attention to the decal stepping and how the final finish of the kit is going to be, the paint is going to be. This was one of the ones that he paid real close attention to that and tried to make sure he didn't get any kind of weird texture or anything like that. I mean, he did get it on the underarm here, but that's not a. It didn't detract from the entirety of the kit being as good of a finish as it is.
And Brian, when you were talking about the shoulder before, were you meaning to say that like rather than black, you could have used a different like complementary color for doing the panel lining?
I meant like in the recesses of the same color parts of the panel. Like if perhaps you go back and zoom in on it. And to me, the one picture, at least that we were looking at, I think that pocket, that recess, could have done with just a little bit of like you're saying, a not black, but like a dark green or a brown, light brown in there, just not to make it gritty or grimy, but just to add a little bit of shadow to something that is not half shadow naturally.
Yeah.
It's most obvious on the vents on the chest.
Yeah, and the chest vents especially, because they look just kind of plasticky because they don't have a whole lot of depth without a wash on the edge of that vent line. Those would be louvers. There would be a seam on the edge there. You would see that in reality. Now I'm being a super stickler, so.
Yeah, I think this would have been, because of what he was going for with the kit, it would have been a really good opportunity to do the panel lining in like a pastel-y purple or something kind of.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, rocket teal or something funky in some weird spots for some like visual. Yeah.
No, I'm not sure if you kind of did this where you top coated the kit but didn't wait long enough for paint to dry, and I've done this before in the past too. But your accent colors kind of start to, looks like they've kind of bleed a bit and fade. And that's happened to me personally when I didn't wait long enough for the paint to kind of cure all the way, especially if you're using enamel. Again, I don't know what you use here, but it looks like I've gotten this effect before. It looks like it's happened over here as well. So there's something to look out for in the future.
It looks like just when you're using the accent color and you just brush it.
Oh, brushed it on.
Yeah, so it'll just be all covered like that, but the pigment will go out to the sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's just not like fully cleaned up. So I would assume that's done on purpose to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
That he didn't like completely wipe out all the interior part there.
Right. They did. Yeah, this was
Nice.
This is very well done, dude. I enjoy this build. I'm much like Brian and Tim, not a fan of Bandai's Alex, but you
made it good.
Pretty damn good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
You done good, kid.
Yeah, the temperature, if you can put it up in like a floating pose on an action base, I just want to kind of see how that works.
Throw some shots of that in the Discord so we can see it.
Send a photo later.
Yeah, I want to see it.
All right, so next one. Let's not waste any time. All right, this one is by Dennis Rebasam? Is that what I'm saying that? Hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm not butchering it.
You can just say their first name. I just stuck to people's first names before.
I'm trying, man. I gotta give them the respect.
Sure.
Oh, Blitz?
You know what? It's Don Zwergo.
Don Zwergo.
Okay,
he's in Blitz.
Interesting.
Well, the kind of brighter purple than what's on the normal kit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And switched up the red to a metallic red.
Yeah. That light, man, that shit is
blowing
it out.
It's killing me. Yeah.
I was gonna start with the positive. I
want to see the positive, but it's blinding.
I like the mix of finishes, right?
Yeah.
It's got the glossy red overcoat, and then the matte finish on the darker grays and stuff like that. That was a very nice look.
Yeah, definitely going with the soft tone on that, like dark gray, that Panzergrau, or that dark, like that, super dark, the gold gray or whatever it is. Super benefit. If it was shiny, it would just lose all that detail that you can see. So that's a kudo.
I really like the gray of the armor,
yeah.
but the inner frame gets completely lost.
Yep.
Because there's no contrast between the two colors. So for aesthetic purposes, not necessarily realistic purposes, I would have gone a few shades lighter on the inner frame to highlight, those joints and everything just a little bit more.
100%.
Ooh. Nice shot.
Again, but it's a shot that we can't really judge from, right?
Yeah,
looking at this thing.
It's pretty. What you need to get in, up in there, see that finish.
Yeah, it's also covered in smoke,
And smoke, yeah.
That's why it's pretty.
I mean, a lot of times I think that you can get some cool contrast finishes using some parts glossy and some parts matte. But for this one, I don't really necessarily particularly like the glossy metallic bits on it.
Mhm.
It's kind of contrasty in a not good way for me.
I think it doesn't work with that tone of gray. If it was darker, or there were multiple tones of gray there, I think that would have worked better. Maybe.
Yeah.
So this looks like this is an unfortunate victim of putting decals on after you put a matte coat.
Oh,
Possibly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Silvering there.
And the gray is a little splotchy.
Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
things going on there that I don't quite.
That
It's
looks like
maybe
that's probably also top coat.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a spray can top coat maybe.
Did you
Because
hand
of
paint
the
that
small
silver?
like dots of that, it looks airbrushed, but just not evenly.
Yeah. Maybe it's like
That's what I'm
pooling that's dried up.
Mhm.
Like
Man,
overspray.
he didn't cut that decal, and it goes right over those panel lines, and it's super duper obvious.
Which one?
Yeah, that's a
My model
the white
heart is
one, yeah.
sad. Yeah, my model heart is sad.
Yeah.
Just take a little razor blade and slice your decals when it goes
This-
over
every-
panel line, dudes. It looks so
every
much
time,
better.
dude. Every time I see this, it breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it makes my model heart sad. Over here too on the side, it's the long run after that like end. It goes out straight and then breaks at that panel line with those 5 dots, those 5 rivet holes or whatever. There's a panel line that's flat that it bisects diagonally. That
And
would
that's
not
just
have
one
big
of
track.
those. And that's just one of those like basic things, attention to detail that you cannot hide in a clean build.
The thrusters on those spears, I think, were hand painted.
Yeah, I'm seeing a little purple on those.
Where I think the silver paint is rubbed off, it looks like probably.
Yeah,
oh, that could be
Just from
it too.
handling
Could be.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it could be.
A little bit of pulling on your clear red coat.
Yeah.
That's
Looks like I mean the scribing looks it's not the cleanest scribing I've seen, but just in terms of the design of it, I mean it's pretty good.
Nice.
The rivet,
Yeah.
like the holes are a bit too large. I think I would guess that's like a 1 millimeter drill. If you can find something smaller, get a smaller one like a 0.5, be better for something like this. They're quite large for the scale.
Even 0.5 may be a little bit big.
I was gonna say 0.3,
Yeah.
0.2.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
See how small you want to go with that. But
Yeah, it's tough with like flat.
If you want to keep it within scale, yeah. This one, like I made notes for like almost all of the entries, which is why it took me a little bit to get through the fucking entries. But like one of the main points that I had put down for this specific build was just like in caps, silvering, like, pretty much everywhere. It was rough to see just because it is literally it's all over the shoulders, it's all over weapons, it's all over the back skirt. It's just all over the place.
yeah.
Kind of.
What I would say is what it looks like with the top coat. It looks like he kind of misted that on without going for like a really wet coat of that, which I think like for a matte top coat, when you're spraying that, it does kind of feel like you're spraying too much when you're getting a really wet coat of that, but you need a really wet coat of that to get the finish to look really nice and good on that. So
what's in matte coat that makes it matte is like a very, very finely ground talc, and that is what like mats out the surface. It's the same exact carrier as gloss, but there is a talc in it. That's why if you have mister that sits for a long time, it gets that like white haze on the bottom. That's like the talc settling. So you mix it up, it goes back to normal, right? You spray it on, it looks hazy, but it dries flat. So spraying too far away or too little, and you're going to get granules, and you're going to get all sorts of weird, funny things going on.
it looks all dusty like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Distance and the mount definitely matter when you're doing the matte top coat. So some things to keep in mind for your next build.
For everyone, I think about it all the time.
I understand the concept and I like the concept. Just
Also, just because you're using metallics doesn't mean that you have to use gloss coat over metallics. Using matte coat over metallic paint can give a cool finish as well too. So
this is true. Yeah,
try
absolutely.
that maybe.
All right. So, well done. All right, let's go on to the next one because we ain't wasting time today. Next one is by Donovan Tay. And he is.
Sorry, my bladder was screaming at me.
I was just gonna say, someone is there.
Out of everyone, usually Julio is the one that disappears out. So
my empty glass is screaming at me. I'll be right back.
Hey.
Sure.
All right, so Donovan.
Yes.
Ooh, look at that Woo Ward.
So is that the resin part, or is that something that he made?
This
You would
looks
know,
like
Chris.
this looks like the model bingo, 1144. Goddess Fin. Just from the detail, like in there, it looks like it. I mean, otherwise, he either has a really really good 3D printer, or he has the eyes of a 5-year-old child. Does
What does that mean?
He means that in a good way.
Like
His
they're-
eyes are very good.
2020.
Yeah.
No adult has 2020 vision anymore. That's what I'm trying to say.
Whatever. Anyway, zoom in.
Where do you want to zoom in, Tim?
Just zoom all of it. Just the legs, especially.
Okay.
All right. Definite orange peel all over
Yeah.
the place.
Right.
Kind of looks like those old Legos, the angled Legos with like the textured parts, and they had like the smooth parts next to them. You'd always notice that
Yeah.
textured part, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
You can see the
Resin
sink
from-
right in the middle of there.
Yeah, that's
That line going down the kind of front of that,
Ooh,
highlighted
yeah.
kind of right in the middle. That just needs to be
I
puttied.
thought
and
that was.
sanded ahead of
I
time.
thought that was molded in.
No, that's just
Oh,
a sink
shit.
of plastic. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Isn't it right there too?
Nice little addition of the little photo etch part. It looks like. I'm guessing it's a little photo etch part. It's a nice little detail.
Yeah.
Definitely not part of the original Woundward, that's for sure.
Can you show the lower legs where this kid has that very nasty seam line down the lower leg? I want to see if that's all cleaned up. Or if we can
Looks
tell.
like it. It should be right here, right? Like,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
around.
All right, yep.
Looks like you got rid of it.
Where that Tim, you remember that at GBWC? There's that GBWC winner that had this huge like kit bash like fish thing, right? And he's using those parts, and that seam line was not filled on those parts.
Oh, dude, there was a ton of seam lines at GBWC.
yeah.
I
You
was
wouldn't
like-
think it, right?
I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. Hey, let's give this one a special award.
I would cry myself to sleep in my gigantic can of Bud Light Lime.
Nice.
As far as the color choices, I mean, it's right on for the colors that it's supposed to be. It looks like, though, as far as accuracy.
Sure. I would have really liked some variations of the dark gray / black.
Yeah,
Just because
Or isn't
it kind of
break it up.
overpowers everything. Yeah, just break it up a
Even
little
that
bit.
lavender, right?
Mhm.
Throw like a little dark gold gray and some of that lavender and hit a couple of those elements. There's a bunch of parts in that jointed lance support. It's on the back of it that just looks like the same thing. It's like all the same color.
Sure.
I think some like
Weird.
dark Titans blue would look nice in some spots there.
If he is just basing it off of the illustration, though, I mean, I can understand why to just make it all just that one black color like that, because
Yeah.
that's how it looks. Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
part right
this
there.
is the part you're talking about here. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brian. Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of fun stuff in there. You could just add a little subtle thing and it makes all the difference in the world. I have learned that from hanging out with all of my fine friends here.
True.
Yeah.
And I'm not. For anybody that watches my live stream, I'm not a fan of painting a model black because
Yeah.
everything gets lost in it, and it's way too overpowering. Number one, even if something in real world, like you take a look at like the stealth bomber or stealth fighter or whatever,
Yeah, or like the SR-71, right?
yeah, it's painted black, right? But
I'm still
when you look at it in the real world, or if any picture you see of it, if you color pick any of the colors on that photo, there's not going to be a single one of them that are going to be actual black.
Exactly.
They're all going to be dark gray. and shades of gray.
Yeah.
So
it'd be like reds and blues and browns and purples and stuff you wouldn't think, right?
Yeah. So in my opinion, to mimic that realism, go with a darker gray. I never paint a model black. It's in my opinion, it's too much.
I would just guess, I mean, just in his defense, I would just say that he was just going for like, not anime accuracy because it's not an anime, but illustration accuracy.
Yeah.
But yeah, toning it down to like just slightly less than black. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been nice as far as just the model kit goes. Yeah.
And I think that's the only way you could go, just toning down the black. Because in a clean build, you really can't use all the different shades of black or darker grays to make it look like a clean build.
Right, like what you would see in like a SR71.
I'm gonna disagree with respect, because we did see a bunch of very well shaded builds, darker colored builds that worked very well, that showed off the edging of parts and stuff like that and armor, and it worked well enough that it didn't look weathered, but it was it was still clean, but it was subtle enough that you could still see the variations and shades of the different darker armor parts.
The lighting helped a lot as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, dude.
Yep.
As an advanced Zeta fan, I think you have to be happy with that build because it's a pretty good representation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've seen the art on this, and I mean, it's pretty damn close. It's just it doesn't scream like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. There's something missing.
It's mostly just out of the box. I mean, it doesn't really have anything extra as far as like some of the winners had with some customization and things like that. There wasn't really much of that except for just the swapped out V-fin for the whether it be a 3D printed or, well, I guess even the what's the company?
Model Bingo.
Model Bingo, yeah. Even that one 3D printed, isn't it, right? So
Yeah.
3D printed fin.
All right. So next up we have Janoel Bobbin. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's his name. All right. So this is a very interesting one.
So hot in my house. It's almost 90 degrees in here. It's crazy.
So speaking of, we had kind of the chef started talking about his vaporwave theme before. This one has a kind of synthwave design, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the sci-fi nerd in me loves the, those astral wings.
Yeah.
Very well painted. There's no denying it.
Right.
I think he knocked it out of the park in terms of his concept. But I personally don't feel that it met the requirements of a clean build.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see.
Like, this is definitely artistic, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But it just didn't. I don't think it was in the right category. You know what I mean?
I think without the modulation and highlighting, it would have fit the criteria.
Maybe. I don't know.
There are definite parts where you can see that it would have fit the clean criteria. Like the side skirts are very close to that, right?
Yeah.
But then you look at something like the chest, which is a little stronger, a little more stronger of an effect of the highlight, and it doesn't amount, or it doesn't equal clean, at least to me.
Yeah.
It seems like it'd just be kind of a hard concept to pull off what he's trying to apply to this without doing any kind of modification to the kit. Is if you go back to the last picture, Chris, you have like some bits where like the teal parts on the chest are painted in a way to look like they're glowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like the chin, it doesn't really look like there's so much glow around that. And then like the V-fin as well too, there's like no glow around that. So some parts look like they're painted like they're glowing, and some parts look like they're just painted in just that solid color.
Yeah.
So it's kind of inconsistent as far as like looks like it's supposed to be glowing or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, you've got like parts in the shoulders that are the same color as the V fin that's got that highlight, and then you've got the V fin that has none of that at all. It's just it
So
doesn't.
it was a difficult thing to try to pull off. So I mean, I can understand that, but
Yeah.
It's fucking gorgeous. Though.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a beautiful piece.
This has this definitely has presence, right?
I mean, I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you guys find it hard to judge?
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I think I was the only one that brought it up for like our finalists, right? I wanted to take another look at it, but
yeah.
it was difficult one to judge. Yeah, definitely.
this I feel like out of the one out of most of the ones we looked at, this one was one of the longer discussions that we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And the art, I love the artistic photography and everything. I don't know if this was the right contest for this particular piece.
It works super well in photos like this, where it's really dark.
Absolutely.
It looks,
I want you
this is,
guys to-
where it looks the best. Yeah.
I want you guys to, in the chat or both in video. I want you guys to put a photo of this up on your computer, and then play the Stranger Things music.
Oh no!
Right? Yeah. There's that
It
one.
goes so well.
The one picture with the wings completely, spun out. Not this one.
Yeah,
But
the other one, that one.
This one, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
This is a beautiful piece. It just didn't make sense in in the sense of the competition itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely
I do love it.
something to be happy with on your shelf. Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Stellar.
That's a nice shot.
That's the problem with us making all these cool models. Like, I'm sure you guys experience this too. It's like, now I just have a fucking glut of cool things. It's like, I can't even look at them. They're all on top of each other.
I just keep mine in the cases.
Yes. So who was that again? That was a Drenol. Well then, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, really, really nice one.
You've made definitely a one of a kind. It's cool as heck. Dude. All right. So next one is by Draven Pantaleon. How do you say that name? Wow. I'm trying to get.
Oh man, some Xeon love.
Using the old, the first grade kit.
It was really.
It's always great when people challenge themselves, choosing a more difficult kit to work with. Yeah.
I feel like I'm looking right at like one of those display things that Bandai puts up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got like
Yeah, right.
box art in the background, and like the clear base.
Yep.
That picture kind of looks like it came out of the Korean War. It's a little green.
Yeah, green. There's some noise in it.
It's a little white noise in there, or a little noise in it.
I think this one was the one where he had a couple of photos that like he was going for like comedic value with them, right? You go through.
There you go.
Yeah, like this one.
Yeah.
It's so sweeping. Yeah. Again, that was not really relevant to the contest, guys. But I mean, it's a fun photo to share on Facebook or whatever. But as far as the judging goes, didn't really help us at all.
Right. Like stuff like this is a good idea if you're submitting photos for a composition that we're judging the details and the cleanliness of your application of paints.
Can you zoom in? I want to see.
Good effort on the on all of the panel scribing that you like put forth. You did a lot of work, but I think that your theory is a little off. Like those triangular panels on the legs that make it look kind of like a watermelon or something.
Right there.
It's kind of odd to me.
It reminds me of a clothes hanger.
Oh, you got some clothes
yeah.
hanger. Yeah,
That's
clothes
right,
hanger.
yeah.
I was thinking it just makes the leg look like a melon.
It does.
kind of.
This is great work for an entry grade, though. Like
That's not even an
yeah.
entry grade, right? This is like a
a first grade.
First grade.
First grade, yeah, first grade,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do the legs look really weird to you guys? Like the legs look like the hip section looks really.
Yeah,
Weird.
Below.
It's like
Yeah.
it stopped. It's right here, and then the torso continues on because like the ball joint is right here at the bottom.
Yeah.
yeah.
Something
And
looks different about that.
Yeah.
I've never built one of these ones, so I don't know how that
Mhm.
mechanic works.
I also don't
Some
know
heavy-
what's going on. Isn't this like this part right here?
I don't know.
No, I
Oh.
mean, but
Interesting. I don't know.
Right? Isn't that where the power cables connect? But he's got two.
Yeah.
Looks like it. Yeah.
um,
There's some
It's
heavy
extended.
texturing on the. Yeah. There's heavy texturing on the elbow joint there in that picture.
Oh gosh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh, my goodness, yes.
Heavy texture.
That's wool, sir.
That's wool.
Huh?
That's wool,
Wool.
sir.
It's made of wool right there.
It's a wool. It's wool, Tim. We're
It's a
joking.
wool elbow. It's a joke.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I don't get it, but whatever.
That's cool. Because of the amount of texture on the part, it looks like it's made of
Of wool.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he extended that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
something's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
did he put? I think what he did was put some different frame parts into that because the kit doesn't have any sort of frame. So I think he used like parts of the G frame or something.
Maybe.
Parts of a G frame Zaku combined with the first grade.
Interesting.
It looks like. Yeah, because the first grade doesn't have anywhere near that much articulation.
Yeah.
No, not
Yes.
at all.
And that would explain the kind of weird proportions that we're seeing.
And it's a bunch of clamshells
Yeah.
straight up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is wild to look at.
He
The
put a
more I
lot of
look at
work.
it- The more I look at it, the more the proportions are throwing me off.
Yeah, those
Yeah, a
legs
little
are
bit.
really.
They're low.
Yeah,
They're
It's
low
got
on the
a real-
torso.
real long pelvis on that
Yeah.
Zaku. Yeah,
Yeah.
his torso is normal.
I think the hip's going to use a bit of a widening, maybe. If you're going to extend that much in the midsection, widen the stance a bit.
Unlike, actually, much like Shakira, those hips don't lie. I know, Tim.
Jeez. But yeah, I think it's the fact that he even managed to get a first grade into this thing. Well, not into this thing, but he managed to integrate the whole thing and made it look cohesive to a degree. Just the proportions are just throwing me off, and and there are parts of it where it is quite clean, but then there are parts of it I'm like, well, you didn't really pay too much attention to this part, did you?
Yeah.
Some
See, and
parts
that's
you can
another thing. Like, he went all out on construction of the piece, but the finish is a little lacking in, especially like on the wool elbows.
just
They
sweater.
didn't have any poly covers. They had to go for the wool ones.
Yeah. So that just gets me. It's like you got to learn to crawl before you walk. I respect the amount of work that he put into it, but honestly, I think this might have placed a little bit better if you would have left that stuff behind and not worried about the advanced stuff and just focused on the basics and hit those out of the park.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, yeah, there are definitely parts where, like I said, like there are things that you definitely neglected and that hurt you quite a bit. But there are, some of your ideas are very solid. Just don't forget the basics.
Yeah.
Never forget the basics. Yeah. All
Good work, though,
So,
man. You put in some work in there.
excellent. All right. So that was, who was this again?
Draven.
Monteleone.
Yeah,
Pantaleone.
from the Philippines.
Yes, Draven. Thank you guys. So that was all the D's, and then we went through the E's already. So let's go ahead and move on to the F's.
Cool.
This time,
So we're an hour in. Not bad.
yeah. So this time, let's go ahead and take a look at Finn Gumpla with his Kyrios.
Nice. Good color choice. on that blue or teal, right?
Yeah, great color choice, questionable color flow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the blocking
Kind
is
of
a
my take on it.
bit weird. It pops, man. It definitely pops.
Let's see some more of the photos here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry. Like that one color is nice. It's just it doesn't go with anything he put that with.
It's
I kinda-
overpowering.
Yeah, and I almost feel like that white background is almost too white. Like it's too bright. Like would a gray background have benefit that amount of bright blue?
Mm,
I think his white balance is just off because that
Yeah.
white doesn't exactly look white, and the rest of the colors because of it. Are
Yeah, it seems like maybe the contrast is turned up a little high
Yeah.
or something, maybe, or I don't know. I'm not a foot hugger.
I think maybe if he would have implemented more of that color, it would have, and like left the dark tones for highlights and whatnot, it might have worked better. But like the darker tone being like the base might have tripped us up a little bit.
I feel like this is where he kind of backed himself into a corner because if he used more of that color, it would have been even more overpowering.
Yeah, it would have been like
On a different background, it might not have been. Like this color on a dark background might have looked better, maybe. I don't know. I want to
I think-
Photoshop it and see.
I think the problem too is that he's trying to have two very different highlight colors or like accent colors. He's got the really bright teal accent color and also the really bright orange accent color, and they kind of clash together. So it's like two, and then the really bright silver as well too. So you have like really dark, and then it's like half accents when accents need to be like 10% or less.
Yeah, if it was like a barometer, right? Like that teal would be top, and then you go all the way down to the dark gray, almost black, and then all of a sudden it goes all the way back up again with the orange, and then all the way back down again with some of the darker grays, all the way back up again with the silver, and then all the way back down again. It's like there's no flow to it. It's sharp spikes of color all the time.
I mean,
I think it was all applied well though, like the execution.
I feel like he did this color, the way he colored this thing, he did it for this mode. He didn't do it for the
For Wave Rider.
yeah.
if you go back into the just the regular robot form, I think what could have looked cool is like for all of like the vents and stuff that are orange, if those would have been all in like just a white or something, and then having the orange in there as well too, I think is fine. But just like having the V fin in orange or something, like just like one part in orange would have been nice, instead of having the orange kind of dotted throughout the kit.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of predominantly gray, white, silver, and then you have your teal in there for a color, and then just like one little bit of orange would be fine.
And I'm unfortunately I'm never a fan of the dark faceplate.
Yeah, same.
I'm just I don't know
Gets
why,
washed out
but
in the rest of the helmet.
and not only that, it's just a weird contrast, you know?
Yeah.
Because that should be a focal point in my opinion. But when it's darker than everything else, it almost becomes the opposite. You know what I mean? I don't know. It looks odd, and I trust me. I've given. I remember giving Nico some shit. I think Zach can attest to this. Giving Nico some shit in Japan about his color choices on faceplates and stuff, but to each their own. But
And I also maybe I'm just not seeing it, but there's no panel lining in here.
Oh, you're right.
You are correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
I
think
was
it's still
what was
broken
up
up.
with that gun, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. The masking on the gun, like the masking is fairly clean, but the fact that there's no like panel line separation between that at all in any of those parts is kind of funky.
Yeah, and then I'll say this because again, this goes back to Tim's comment of crawl before you can and walk before you can run. Don't forget your seam lines, my guy.
Yeah.
Don't forget your
Oh,
seam
yikes!
That's a mold line there on that part.
mold
Yeah,
lines.
yeah.
Sorry,
I was gonna say,
mold
yeah.
lines. Sorry, not seam lines. Mold lines. Just don't forget.
Potato, tomato. A
Yeah,
seam line is
yeah,
a mold
anyway.
line that you make by gluing and making the little ridge. Same shit.
Or just
and-
keep the shield closed and hide it.
Photography. I do want to comment on Mike had mentioned something earlier about affixing your model to the base for in-person shows. Excuse me, or use my words. And I did that with my model. I don't know if it's super apparent or not, but that was all separatable but magnetized to the base. So the reason that model stood up was because it was magnetized to that big ass block of wood, and that stone wall is very top heavy and is magnetized.
This is a better
to that block
photo.
of wood.
It looks better on a darker background. This is a better photo.
Definitely.
Okay. The comment here.
He's in chat right now. He says he
Yeah.
wants
Real
us
thoughts,
to talk
not
about-
color thoughts. Okay.
Let's get it. Let's get at it.
So if you really do like the teal, I would have used more of the teal as the main color and used all the darker ones as highlights. That
So,
would
like,
look really, really nice.
Flop
And
it like negative wise, like
yeah, and like on a darker background, it would have looked really, really nice. Like a lot more teal. If you're gonna hit the teal with that much stark contrast, you might as well do more of it. Like get it popping, in my opinion.
So I'm a little confused by the comment because this was a painting competition. Why wouldn't we?
yeah,
talk
it's not a
about
build
painting?
comp. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if there was more, the other thing too is just that there's nothing really modified about it. So if he had done like some custom modification or scribing some panel lines or something, there's more we could talk about with that. But as far as I can tell, I mean, it's just painted straight out of the box, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, as far
You
as
built
your,
you built it per the instructions. Like
exactly. So as far as talking about the build, I think Tim and Pap said it earlier. You forgot some of the basics. So
Seams,
build wise,
molds.
A couple of
molds
lines.
and seams.
yeah.
I don't see any nubs though.
No nubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I mean, aside from the couple of mold lines, maybe I mean, everything looks pretty clean as far as just the prepping ahead of painting.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. So well done.
I
Finn?
really, I mean, just as one last note about the colors, even if he doesn't want to hear us talk about the colors anymore, I just want to say I really appreciate the bold choices with the colors. I just think just needs a little bit more finesse as far as where to place different things like that. So
Color
and
blocking.
just kind of comes with experience over time. You kind of get a better eye for
Yeah,
that.
that's miles, man. Yeah.
And the only thing I'll add to that, Logan, is that the reason why we're getting nitpicky about the colors versus everything else is it is a job well done. You did a great job with the build, and we're looking at things to pick on versus saying this is trash. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a fail.
Yeah, it's not a fail.
Not a fail. No.
I didn't wear my "It's a fail" shirt, so
No.
The changes to the colors is like the main thing that he did with
Yeah.
the suit. So that's kind of the thing
Yeah,
that we're going to
that's-
talk about, right?
That's gonna be the main talking point, man. We can't talk about something that you've stock built. We're gonna talk about what you've done differently that other people would do differently if they had just snap kit the kit. So yeah. All right. So next one. This is an interesting one. I mean, I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about this. This one is by Fran's Annunciation.
Oh,
Hey.
That's all right.
this one ended up doing pretty well in the contest anyway.
I think so. Yeah, he placed quite high.
All right, next.
This is
Tim, take it away. This is one that Tim especially loved this one.
He was very
Yeah.
strong on this one. Hmm.
Yes.
Very strong. Friends hit everything right, in my opinion. Photography is good. The white background complements the tone of the colors and everything. The color choices, I think, are really, really well done. The different color shoulder is really nice. The subtle cockpit color and crotch color are definitely, I think, huge pluses in my opinion. The just the fit, finish, and quality on this was, in my opinion, just above everyone else's. The addition of the base, while not part of the competition, definitely helped with the presentation. And honestly, just everything was just right about this particular build for a clean competition. It is clean and superior. That's why it won to everybody else's. So,
And
Those
I think
are the 3.0 hands, right?
Yes.
I
These
think those are just the hands
Those-
that are included with the kit.
Yeah, it's the.
Yeah, but
it's
aren't those they're the fully articulated like precast ones that you have to like fold up? Those suck to make look that good. Way
Yeah.
fucking good job.
Yeah.
Like, oh
They
my
really
god.
I remember the first time I worked on those things, man. I tried sanding them down. I was like, "What is it? Is this
Oh, they
melting?
are-
What's happening?"
They
It's
are the
melted.
worst. Oh
Yeah.
well.
Good job. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I agree 100% with him. Like when we had the discussion about who was going to win, and this was brought up, we were all in pretty much agreement. The only thing and this was more of a personal thing, I didn't like the colors, right? Like I just
Really?
yeah, I wasn't a fan of the colors, and I think
What, it
that's
didn't have any purple in it, you pussy?
No, I see where Paps is coming from. It's kind of it from a distance, like Monet style from a distance. It's one note. You wouldn't be able to tell anything on that kit. It is a block of gray that you see
Which
nothing
is-
on.
Which is
But when
what
you get
I
in and
love
look at the
about it.
detail, I get it. Makes sense. If it was a
Yeah.
huge ass robot, perfect.
Yeah,
But
and
it's
I
just little ass
especially
mod.
like the colors because to me, this is what a war machine should be colored like. Like you can have your personal style, but this thing is built for war,
Yeah.
and it looks like it. And I appreciate the fact that it's a Monet where from far away, hey, there's some monotone colors there. Then you get closer, you're like, oh shit, there's like 3 different tones of
Mhm.
this green here, right?
Mhm.
I personally do love the colors.
This has the perfect balance of realistic and aesthetic, in my opinion. That then like Z said, this looks like a weapons platform.
The thing too, as far as like the judging goes, to remember is that this checks all the boxes of like it's really well painted, the finish all looks good. We can't really find any faults of like mold lines, nub marks, stuff like that. And so there was a number of those that were all at that same level. But what we had to look for as far as like which one was going to win is as far as like what people did extra then after that, as far as like any customization or like the colors that they use, the creativity and stuff that went into that. So this one had that as well too, really well done.
It's
So that's why
gorgeous.
this one ended up winning. Yeah,
Hey Tim, isn't this purple?
No,
purplish gray there, I gotta say. Yeah,
Purple gray.
yeah.
it's the lighting. Shut up.
Now, Franz is that's Squirtle, right?
Scored
Yeah,
a
that's
militia.
what I'm gonna show.
Squirtle militia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will 100% give this to Franz. His finish is what everybody who does clean builds should strive for. Like
Yes.
when I said it earlier, finish is one of the big things that you need. Like a lot of people need to kind of pay attention to. Pay attention to how Franz finishes his builds, because this is what you should be going for, because this is
Pab, zoom in on the leg for me real quick.
That little bit of shine on the leg.
Yes, that is, in my
Yeah, that's what you're
opinion.
gonna say.
In my opinion, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because at scale, if this was a realistic, 18-meter robot, you would have a little bit of that shine on there, no matter if it's flat or not.
Yeah.
We talked about that a lot too, judging the weathering builds as well too.
Yeah.
That it makes it look more like real metal once it does have a little bit of a shine to it. You don't want it
Yeah.
to be super matte.
Yeah,
Yep.
should have like a sheen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. And I've read
That's,
some.
it's
I know
just
I've read
lovely.
some folks' comments on during this contest that some people were like, "Well, it's just a clean build, right? So that's got to be easy."
Mm.
Whether you're a weathering god like Ronaldi, or now like Squirtle, a clean builder,
Mm.
either way, it's insane and difficult as shit to make your kit look this good, whether you're doing clean or a weathered build.
Sure.
Very much so.
so
You
one
can't,
thing.
like I said, sorry, Pabs, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tim. It's fine.
Well, I already interrupted you 4 or 5 times tonight, but what I was going to say, you can't hide any mistakes in a clean build. You can't. And I know I'm going to probably get some shit on this, but in my personal opinion, I think clean builds are harder to pull off because you can't hide anything. There's no room for error. None.
I have to interject a little bit because I hear what you're saying, Tim, and there are people that will try to hide shit with weathering, but when you get guys like Mike and Aaron that know their shit when it comes to weathering, they can read through all the bullshit.
I mean, Mike just said it right here.
I'm lazy. Mike, you're not helping me.
And mind you, I'm not discounting weathering at all. It's an art form. It really, really is, and I respect people that can weather because I cannot. So I openly admit that. But in terms of quality, fit, and finish, in terms of something very, very highly technical like this, I don't know. I just think clean is the harder way to go.
I think it's just a completely different skill set because with this, I think like in weathering, like so much more of the creativity needs to be used in like applying all the weathering and stuff. You really have to think about kind of how you're applying the weathering to create a story. Whereas with clean builds, you're not as much making a story with the weathering, but a lot of creativity comes with the panel line scribing and different changes that you're making to the kit physically. I will say, zoom in on the back of that shield. I did find one mistake on this. That it looks like there's a little bit of a
the shield photo, or do you
what?
No. On the this one, the shield mount. I brought this up when we were judging it. That it looks like you can see a little bit of a sink in the back of the shield mount there.
Oh, yeah, right here, right, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that little dot right there.
Right
where
there.
That could have been filled with a little putty and sanding there.
Yep.
So it's not perfectly clean.
Demerit.
I will say. I know Franz isn't watching because I know he's doing another show right now. But just be very careful with your decals. Just the placement can be a little bit questionable.
Silvering on that one, yeah.
Well, let's be honest. There are differing qualities of decals that he used.
I wonder whatever do you mean, Tim?
Merry Christmas! It's my favorite one, dude. I can't help it. It's my favorite one.
But yeah, Franz, I mean, there isn't a lot we can say that we haven't said already, or you haven't heard it be said already. This thing 100%, deserves to win. And as much as I want to give kudos to the people who answered and did well, this stands head and shoulders above the rest. And there was no like argument between Zach, myself, and Tim. This was like, yes, I think we think this is a winner.
Yeah, I talked about this the other day while we were doing our stream with Mike and Aaron, that we had the same thing on the clean side as well too, and we did our judging for that we had like a group, we have like 20 some that were like among our kind of finalists that we discussed in quite a lot, and then from those, after we did a lot of discussion, then we kind of sorted out which ones we knew were going to win. So then actually choosing among those which ones were going to be the number 1 and number 2 picks was pretty easy at that point, because we'd really gone into depth talking about a lot of them.
Right. Yeah. Franz, congratulations on the win. I can't wait to see what you build next, and let's keep going, dude, because I really like your builds. All right, so next up we have I don't know, man. All right, next up we have Freak Show 535. I don't want to put this up, man.
Pab's the fanboy over here.
I really like your builds. I really like your builds. Can you sign my t-shirt? All right, so Freak Show 535. What do we think?
That looks like it's out of the box.
Oh, I should give a note. You guys, the other judges didn't get this because I was the one that was handling all the emails. But he said in his email that I don't remember exactly, but something that like he didn't totally finish it to what he wanted, but he just wanted to submit it anyway. Something. So keep in mind that it's not, I guess, totally finished based on what he wanted to do.
An incomplete submission.
This is a weathered build.
But this is a weathered build, no?
No.
It looks weathered.
Yeah.
It looks weathered and unpainted.
Yeah. It looks totally unpainted.
Well, it looks like I don't know. There's definitely some white thumbprints up there. I'm gonna guess that there was some paint somewhere on this at one point.
I just take what people send me, okay?
No, I hear you.
Someone send
I'm
this
not
to me.
trying to get. I'm not trying to get.
We're not
explaining
piling
Zach.
on you, Zach. Like this is
This looks like the silvering and the black. This looks like it's all like weathering on a
Those
straight
are
build.
stickers. I think those are stickers.
No, not the
Yeah.
stickers. I mean, like all the little silver marks all over the place. It looked like.
Oh, sure. Okay.
yeah.
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 Interesting.
Yeah, this one's. As melon scratchers go, this is a humdinger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think this was supposed to be a weathered build.
I'm
much?
pretty sure this was a weathered build. He's got burn marks. On
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
crotch. He also does have some paint on the top of the head, right, and on the ear, because I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah.
not.
Oh, and
Great.
the arm is painted on the other side. You can see that the arm is painted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of this one again? I'll check the email again just to make sure. But
Freak Show 535.
okay.
I mean, should we go to the next?
Yeah, I mean, I want to make sure we give ample time to everyone, but again, I don't think that there's really too much else that we could say about his, for example, here, because I know it was not quite finished.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, work on your basics.
Yeah.
Right.
Get
Yeah.
that time
Continue.
management under control, right?
Yeah, I'm just checking the email now. He said he wanted to enter it on the clean side, so
Okay.
Interesting.
So-
Maybe this is the before, and he cleaned it up. And
Are there
It's
more
just
photos?
it's probably works in progress, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds like we're being completely sarcastic, but we're questioning, kind of what the interpretation of clean is on this build.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we're like, well, I mean, the fact that you're seeing dry brushing,
that's a
in
weathering
spots
technique.
and burning,
Yeah.
that's a technique for weathering. That's kind of why we're not trying to. This isn't roast
Yeah,
session. This is
No.
questioning what it is.
Yeah. I'm asking honestly. Everything I said has been an honest question.
I would just chalk it up to I think he is just a very new, just very beginner.
Yeah,
So I mean,
sure.
just,
Yeah, and
I mean,
it's a lot, right? To
Yeah.
bite off for
just
your
work on
first
some,
time.
developing the skills some more.
Yeah, exactly.
And 100% agree with Tim, man. Just work on your basics and
Yeah,
then
get those
start
basics.
getting up there.
Work on your time management for sure. Make sure that you're allowing yourself, if you're going to try and commit to something like this, a competition like this, that you allow yourself enough time to actually work on it without stressing yourself in your home life or your work life or your school life or wherever you are. It's difficult. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Much.
All right. Oops. That was my bad. All right. So next one is from Gab Dormel.
We're in the G's now.
Yeah, we're in G's.
I knew.
Hey.
RG new.
Very nice. I like the choice of gold.
The gray knees jump out at me right away because it's so unorthodox on the new Gundam.
It's the only. No. I guess it's on the ankle too, but like that's the only two pieces that really have that shade, right?
Yeah,
On
the
the-
black
on
on the
the
shoulders
chest.
as well too.
Yeah.
So it's
Easy
cool that you
in
wanted
here?
to try to change up the color scheme a little bit, making it a little bit more unique. But I don't think that those were the right choices to make as far as changes.
Is
Yeah.
this a resin conversion, Babs?
It's the
It is.
RG.
No, yeah. It's not the resin conversion. It's just the stock RG.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
Can
feel
you
like
zoom
that.
in here, Babs?
I feel like that dark background isn't helping very
Yeah.
much.
Someone in the chat said, Operation Stardust said, this doesn't look painted. This is one of those, and there were some of them that it was kind of hard to tell if it looked painted or not. I mean, obviously some parts are painted, but like the white, especially, it is kind of hard to tell if it actually is painted or not.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he's got the reds here, that's definitely painted. I mean, either he got the white very, very clean, like in terms of texturing and finish, or he just didn't bother to paint that and kept it. And then just
On this one, I am sure it is painted, but it does kind of have that look, and that's more so the case with some of the other ones, I feel like. Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
You
interesting.
have that with some of these.
Yeah,
You're looking at them like,
applied well.
yeah.
He did get some orange peel on the black slash.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say before.
midnight blue.
They're on the chest, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially on the head and the head component on the fin right in the center.
Yeah.
Right.
Some texturing, pretty strong.
And
I wonder if that's,
um,
I think that's a top coat, or do you guys think that's a surface prep thing?
that might be a little heavy-handed on the trigger on the airbrush if he had airbrush thing.
I suppose could be
I mean,
like
it
a.
Could be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of I agree with Zach here. Like the color flow is it's very jarring.
The knees. Yeah.
It's, you know, you're looking at this kid and you're like, all of a sudden you're hit with a gold and then you're hit with this gray that you've never been hit with before unless you're looking at the whole thing.
And the red on the back, I'm
Yeah.
just not. It screams like, shoot me. But then again, the cockpit red screams shoot me as well, but that's canon, so who's to say?
I like the dark gold, man. It's a nice dark gold.
The shape of the back of the leg, the shape of it, and the shape of the red part reminds me of the mass production Ava head
Oh sure.
Yeah. Okay.
with the
Let's
big
get it out.
red
those,
lip.
those lips, yeah.
Reminds me of
Smile.
Mhm.
Oh, gives the willies.
This is another one that I'm just like, don't paint it black. I get that you like the color black, and I get that, you know, black is cool and aggressive and everything, but don't use black. Use a dark gray. Trust me, it'll
Midnight
get midnight blue, German gray, like whatever, deep sea gray. I don't care what you pick, as long as it's not black. You know,
I wonder if this is Mr. Color's midnight blue because Mr. Color's midnight blue is black.
It's black.
It's pretty dark, yeah.
it's not that black.
Well, I don't know.
It's not that black. Trust me, I know.
This is midnight blue. This has crystal on top of it, but it's
Wow.
you can tell
Pretty
it's
much
like
black.
not. Well, here you go. Give you guys a nice shot there. This is midnight blue with some crystal amethyst.
Is
And
it that's
then
Mr.
matte
Color
coat.
midnight blue?
Yep.
Hmm.
But it's lightened up a ton by the
Crystal.
matte coat. By the
Oh
matte
right. Yeah, soft. Orange.
But yeah, I mean, if you have flat matte coat on top of it,
Man,
the
I know
photos
Kyle's
are really
really
nice.
happy right now.
Yeah.
that?
So
Kyle's going crazy.
Yeah.
A man of culture.
He has told you.
Yeah, he
No, but
definitely
what,
is an Asuka fan.
what Julio said, the color on this one with the black background works because he had a light shined on the background, or at least above, you know, enough
Yeah.
to
In this
create a
image.
gradient down.
There's another image where it's like his gun's out or whatever, and you lose the top half of the gun completely in the background. Not that one, but you know, it's one of the first, that one right there. I feel like you lose a lot of that gun, or maybe even a different one, but still, like
just needs a bit more light on
needs
the front.
more of that highlight that you're talking about, Tim. That great light
Yeah.
that was shining on top, and it added that awesome contrast, but it still gave you that dark background that you're looking for. Like that's
Yeah.
again,
Although I do like, go back to that, Pabs. I do like the edge highlighting on the top of that, but on the next one, I think that illustrates.
that he just
Brian's
went back
point.
to. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, that's.
Oh
the one.
well,
Yeah.
it was Pab's fault then. So
This is another one too. I'd be really curious to know if this was airbrushed or a spray can, because it almost kind of looks like that. That could be also why there's a little bit of that texture on the black that you can see.
That's
true.
Yeah, the rattle would do that. Yeah, that's why I thought it was a top coat thing. Because if you're rattle canning top coat, it will almost always, unless you're using like a Mister flat or something like that, you're gonna always get like little bits of pilling, unless you add it like do like Zach said, add a nice wet coat and make sure that it's super, you know, but it's not too thick, and you have to worry about that with rattle cans because they are a glutton for spray. Holy goodness!
Yeah, the decals look really clean. Like, applied really well.
This looks like Delpy decal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that Delpy? Like
That's definitely Delpy. But again, don't forget, walk before you can run. Blah blah blah.
It's basically just a water slide version of the sticker decals included with the kit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. more or less, especially for RGs. Yeah.
Oh, I have,
Delpy
I have Delpys somewhere. I have them right here, actually. I'm not going to go through.
Yeah,
Shaka.
yeah, that's
Wait.
exactly.
Yeah, I like that. That was funny.
Yeah.
We can't all be children of the night like Z.
The photography is on point though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy.
I'm a big fan of the suit design minus the squashed head for some reason. It seems like they can't get the new's head right because the new Verka's head is like elongated, and for some reason they took the RG new and just squashed it down like way too much.
I love the RG new head. Shut up. It looks good.
I thought they fixed it with this one.
It looks
It
so
looks
much
better than Verka, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But
I do agree with you, but it's just squashed a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Like it just it's like they disproportionately squashed it.
The real grade is more Verka than the Verka.
I didn't disagree with you.
I know. I'm just questioning your judgment.
just let Tim enjoy his little head.
I know. Right?
Come on.
Shit. All of us. Hey, all of us enjoy a little head every now and then. Let me enjoy mine.
Okay.
And I haven't had a little head in 5 months, so shut up.
Please, Chris.
Oh god! All right, so Gab Dormal on that beautiful note.
Heyo.
Great.
Good job.
Moving on.
Good job. All right. So next up we have built from Galileo SETI.
Oh, shit.
I don't know.
Killing me.
This whole show just went sideways. Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
yeah. This just turned into mechanism.
No, this just turned into critical builds. That's how it is. That's me.
All right, Galileo City.
Whew.
Wow.
Where to begin?
Who wants to
getting,
take the first shot?
I'm getting some like G.I. Joe vibes off of this. I had like an amazing A10 Warthog that was like a black and yellow like tiger stripe pattern back in like the late 90s.
Okay, hold on just 1 sec. I'm sorry, Brian. Look how stoned Aaron looks in his profile picture there.
Uncle Aaron, what are you smoking?
Aaron.
You done. I guess I can take this one first since I'm
Go for it.
known
Z.
as a camouflage build, to me, it's a fail.
Yeah.
Oh my!
It's not camo. Obviously, it's not camouflage.
Yeah, obviously it's not camo, but you've got camo work there. Then you've got this shade of blue. Then you've got white and brown, and the green is completely off as far as the rest of the camo goes. It's too much clashing colors here.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, that was the thing I was going to bring up. Like, it's the colors are all over the place. It doesn't lend you to kind of, it doesn't direct you on where you should look, right? Instead, it's everywhere and everywhere all at once at the same time. Yeah, that's my takeaway from it, and it didn't do itself any favors with how we placed these colors and the fact that they didn't even really complement each other in the first place.
If you're gonna do camouflage, you have to do more of it. Because if
Or
break
you
it
have
up,
to
it's
like,
too stark.
yeah, you have to do it like a very specific way. Like to add those accent panels, it has to be done like the way that Zach did his cloud decal with not decal, but the paint work, the camo work recently with that masking set. Like that is an exceptional way to add that kind of element, but like add it in the right elements to it across. Like use that kind of a process to get that solid, beautiful camouflage look. Because the camo here looks a little messy, no offense. But it looks a little bit
It looks like it might have been hand painted.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely hand painted. He's got that
Yeah.
texturing on there, and it shows.
The paint application is thick. Like it's very palpable.
The panel lining is very thick as well.
I think doing when you're going to do something like this where you have just like little bits of camo here and there, it's definitely done in a more for stylistic look, not to like actually be camouflaged. It seems like to me, which I think is cool, and I think the idea to apply like some camo style to the heavy arms in theory is a cool idea. But yeah, I think Z said exactly what I was going to say about it too, that there's a lot of very clashing colors there.
Yeah, I think the blue throws it off the most.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. The blue. And it looks like two different color blues. The feet and the blue in the upper body is different.
Yeah.
And the
I
missile
want to
pack.
say three. Yeah, the missile pack is a third blue.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Those being green would have worked better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like an overall green tone.
Bill brings up that great point talking about the filter. He's like a taupe or a tan filter added to the whole model would help add cohesiveness to it. You can a lot of modelers like traditional modelers, armor modelers and stuff will do that to their final product. They'll add a tint to their top coat that they're spraying on to help homogenize everything or help do that. So
Josh did that with his Zeta kit as well too.
Oh, well, there you go. Right on. Hell yeah.
I do like the additions you added to the HG. Like, it's nice.
This is the HG or the original, right? This is the original HG.
No, I think that's the HG. Oh, the original HG? I don't know.
It's you mean like the old 144 scale kit versus the new HG, which like just came out.
Yeah,
right.
Because the HG one, just recently came out, I would assume that that's maybe what this is.
Yeah.
I think just the pose is a bit awkward and making it look like a kind of one of those older kits.
Oh yeah, right.
Because it's kind of got that uncomfortable pose.
What, 2000? Is that what it says?
The new one. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's the new one. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
it's the new one. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't build hybrid kits.
Yeah, and he's got the blade, which I believe is it's from the Full Metal Panic kit. What's the one that has those big knife blades? That's what that looks like. Anyway. Stuck on the side of the head there, that big banana.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I do like that he brought out some details that he didn't necessarily have to. He's got like the blue right here on this wiring. Stuff like that. I think that was a nice touch. Definitely work on thinning your paints just so that they're not so thick, because this is definitely layered very heavily, and that's giving you the texture right here that's very apparent. You did pretty well on the decals though.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And choice for those emblem decals are kind of hard to put around and not make them look like real garish. Like I feel like they're pretty decently applied for a kit that is also incredibly busy. So like that fleur de lis that's on the chest doesn't look horrible. It's got that almost like Mike McGill skull there down that you can just barely see off screen. And then on the shield, on the one shield, it had like a rose, and on the other side it had the nice like the sword or whatever with the ribbon. I feel like those are pretty well placed in consideration for them being what they are. Like those are not easy things to put down and have them not just look like this shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so that was from Galileo.
I like the work you put in, man.
Yeah, and Galileo, I did not mean to insult you. That it's a fail is just a running joke.
Yeah.
So.
If you don't know,
apologize if you're offended.
No offense. Yeah.
Now you're famous.
Yeah.
Got Miguel'd is, I think, the word that people were throwing around.
Just like when I talk too much, that's where you get these.
Oh, it's all words, baby. What do you mean? All right. So next up, we got Ghost Schematics with his build. Let's go to that real quick.
I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. This is the HG, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is this painted?
If so, it is. Yeah, it is painted. Right? This is a darker blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
First of all, kudos for taking photos in the rain.
Yeah.
In the rain. Wow. Is that water? Like, wow.
It does throw off the scale a little bit. These are some big droplets.
Yeah.
Massive.
Martian rain.
Aside from the giant flower petals as well too.
What do you mean, man? These are in scale.
What about the terror birds from Across Plus? Come on, they're giant, they have giant feathers. Come on,
There you go.
Zoom in. Yeah, maybe it's not painted.
It looks like it could be that the white is not painted, possibly. He just
Yeah.
repainted the blue parts, possibly. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell.
That is, that's weird. The way the panel line is reacting with
Okay,
it.
because
Mhm.
like the arms and the hands,
And,
those are
yeah,
Up there in the
That's it.
shoulder,
yeah, and the shoulder, right?
the
yeah.
vent that's not panel lined there.
Yeah,
It's not panel lined here, but I mean, if you look at the backpack right here, the wing, there's like a shimmer to it, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it is.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
Okay.
No, you
It
can
doesn't-
even see it
I
on
guess-
the face too. There's a bit of like texture to it.
The shimmer.
Okay, yeah.
This might have been rattle caned. I'm thinking.
It could, for that that metallic blue, it definitely looks like that kind of like
Yeah,
metallic
and
blue spray paint. Yeah.
And that silver too. It's very grainy, very big tooth on that metallic.
March.
Paul, that detail is there on the bicep, but the panel lining is very thick.
Yeah, black on white is a very interesting choice.
Especially
I
when
mean-
you have the panel lines, which are quite wide on this one. It's
Yeah.
like you're getting a lot of black.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, it can work,
Sure.
but they have to be super thin.
I agree.
You know, some
I do like
decals
the
on
blue.
this.
Is there
Put
any?
that on your show.
No, there's no
No.
decals on it.
If there were, it would be real nice.
Some
Like,
decals,
judging this-
detail painting as well too would have been nice.
Yeah, I do like the blue on this though. The
Yeah,
blue,
it's a
the
nice-
blue is nice. It's a nice application. Even if it were, even if it were spray canned, it's still a pretty good application.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of, kind of when you look at it, it is quite bare bones.
Yeah. If I were to take a guess, I bet these are test store rattle cans.
Possibly. Breaking up
Definitely,
that
the pose is a bit awkward, but the photos itself, like just being outside with that nice natural light, just goes to show that if you don't have a good lighting set up inside, just go outside and it looks
Right.
so nicer.
grab some sun.
Got some good light on there. Anyway,
Nice overcast day. Like,
yeah,
you can't beat it.
totally.
This is good stuff, man. Very good stuff. You're just missing a couple of elements here. Like I said, if you made a list of the things that you could do, and I'm sure you ran out of time to do more of the things that maybe you wanted to do, but definitely, this was like maybe the start of something that you could have done more to.
Shaka, interesting, funny comment there that reminds me of Dalong with the panel lines. Yeah, it's totally Dalong.
I guess a lot of people
big
did
panel
that
lines.
just because Dalong was doing it.
Is that a nub on the arm?
The gray part.
The
Yeah.
magazine.
This right here?
Yeah,
No,
No,
that
no,
one.
on the magazine part.
Right
Yeah,
there.
right there. Yeah. Could be.
Oh.
It looks like that could be rain.
That could be rain.
Big space rain droplet right there.
Yeah.
Space rain.
Space rain is bigger.
It's bigger.
Way better.
Heavy.
It's way bigger. Right?
Because
They get them out
gravity,
there.
they're all into one big ball. Like what was that Trespassers? Not Trespassers. What was that Chris Pratt movie?
Passengers?
Passengers.
Yeah, you're so close.
Yeah. When they lose the gravity and all the water from the pool goes up into a big ball. It's cool.
Yeah.
Gravity.
Yeah, that's the problem with water and space is you will drown very easily.
Mhm.
All right. So Ghost schematics. Well done, dude. Hopefully we get to see more of what you build after this. All right. So next one we got Giovanni Ponce. We're a bit short on time here, so we'll try to get through at least this one. And it is a HG. What the hell is this thing? Kamaris?
Yeah.
Kamaris
Uh-huh.
Vidar.
Vidar, Vidar.
Yeah, of course. Vidar, yeah.
Yeah. So again, this is one of the one where the finish just wasn't there.
There's some texture in there, man.
A big old seam line on the shoulder.
Yeah, seam on the shoulder. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like parts
Yeah,
look
right
like
there,
it's
yeah.
panel lined, but some parts look like it's not panel lined. Or like it's a very light gray, like he used like
Yeah.
that light gray accent color, which is really, really light sometimes.
Oh yeah, you can see it right there on the chest. You're right.
You got some nubs in that face. Like
on the front of like the front cheek there.
Yeah.
Looks like.
On
And
either
on
side.
And there's like a divot in the face shield.
Yeah, there's a well there. Yeah, and there's some.
I think that
obviously
might be a molded
body.
detail that it has like holes there. I believe, but I think what Julio's talking about is like on the purple parts on like the side of the cheek, on like the sides of there's a little gate, right there.
The panel wash also wasn't cleaned properly.
Yeah,
on the shoulder as well too. On the white part, you can see that.
Yeah,
the
right
other
there.
side.
Like
Other side?
front and center, and
Yeah,
in the front there.
right
Yeah,
there.
right there.
Lower.
Yep.
Yeah, and you leave that enamel stuff on there, it'll eat into your paint. So, depending on what you use.
I think the colors he used though look nice. It's
Very
a nice lavender purple. I know Tim must be loving that color.
Oh, man, I hate
I'm sure Pabs is.
Listen, all right. I don't like purple.
It likes me.
It likes me, yeah. All right.
Pabs is about to slide out of his chair looking at this purple right now.
That's why do you think I was off camera for a little while? Come on.
Exactly.
Point me out.
Man, some panel lines in that crest would have been nice. I think
Yeah, there's a lot of detail on this model.
Now, do you think this was because I know obviously there are parts that are masked, right, and airbrushed, but do you think some part? I mean, obviously some parts were hand painted too, but there are parts that I think are hand painted, but
I think a lot of
other
it's
parts are
hand-painted.
hand brushed.
Yeah, I think a lot of it looks like it's hand brushed. Like you look at the
The
detail,
metallics.
the gray detail on the bicep or the forearm, the top of the forearm looks like that's hand painted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It
Right,
also
but
looks
the
like it
upper-
doesn't quite match the color.
Yeah, the upper part looks like it's airbrushed, right? And then when you brush paint that same paint, it will give you a different texture because when you're aerating it through an airbrush, it's going to give you like a kind of a diffuse matte. When you brush it, though, you're going to have the polymers are going to be lining up differently. You're going to get a different sheen on the outside. That's like material sciences and chemical engineering, but it's all stuff we have to kind of know.
Okay, so God, okay, yeah, I agree.
So
That texture though, you got texture all over.
Bunch of
It is-
weird texture.
It is everywhere, and you also have like some dust particles that are trapped in the paint, and that is not doing you any favors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very evident on the weapon right here.
Yeah, I think he was spraying too high, and just
Oh, too
blowing
high
it out.
pressure?
And pulling his trigger all the way back, just going hard.
And
I
This-
like the
this-
pattern,
the
but the
top coat.
texture is.
this looks like spray can top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the top coat. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the texture, or not the texture, but the shape of the camo. For that style, I feel like it's pretty good. I've seen that done real bad. I've done it real bad myself. And I feel like that's a pretty decent ratio of like lights and darks in that like kind of like.
Yeah, just be careful with your masking, getting some bleeding in spots, some blurring in spots, and then
Don't
also
be afraid to
forget-
burnish your tape edges with a little bit,
Yeah.
like a paintbrush back or something, help you out.
Yeah, and also don't forget your again, Tim will point this out, the basics, with your seam lines and your mold lines, and
Yeah, right there on the knee too. Good gracious.
right
Yeah.
there, right up here. Just
Yeah.
be just keep that in mind.
Yeah, those Kamaris lances, they're nothing but a freaking seam line. It's like you're building one of these freaking things.
Yeah.
Big old clamshell, just
That's the thing about the HGIBO kits is that there's a lot of great aspects to them, but they also have a ton of nasty seams.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
What are you talking about, Mike?
Yeah,
nobody does that here.
spraying too high. Yeah.
Nobody. All right, we're all good boys.
Some decals on this would have been nice too.
That line on the top of the
There was a
lens,
decal.
I'm wondering if that's sorry, I'm just
mold,
wondering
yeah, I
if
think
that's
it's
a
molded
molded
in.
detail.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a mold line. I think that's
it's
just
both-
a detail of
'cause
the
it
lens.
runs down both sides.
yeah,
I
you just can't
guess.
see the other side. That's all.
Yeah, I suppose. It's hard to tell though.
You could see the sort of the edge of it where the middle rises. Up
Right
on the
there?
top. Yeah, So yeah, from there to there. But yeah, nice.
Yeah, definitely. Like obviously I like the colors, but just
I like the off-white and the purple and the darker purple, like you guys were saying about the camo. I think looks pretty cool on there. It's just the yellow I don't really like, but I know the yellow is part of the design, so I'm just trying to imagine what else it could be if he was trying to go for like the original color scheme, other than just
that's a
pure yellow.
bold yellow, right? That's almost like a golden rod or something that's like
Yes.
very, very bright. You could have added a couple of drops of gray to that or white to that to like mute it out a little bit. Maybe make it a pastel.
something.
Would that help? Like tie in
The hue down.
purples?
Mm.
I don't know, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one.
yeah.
Especially with how dark some of the frame parts look, especially like on the back. For some reason, like the inner frame on the Gundam is all in gray. Then like that kind of
Yeah, that
articulated arm,
Yeah.
on the back is in like that kind of dark gunmetal kind of color. Is a bit.
Is there
Yeah.
a photo of the back? I think I saw.
I think it's
Oh, there is.
connected to the backpack, I believe.
Yeah, it's right
These
there.
parts there, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that big well there, right? And that cast on the
Oh, yeah.
the almost unfinished under
back side of the shield.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Thanks, Bandai. You're hurting. No, you can see it right here in the gray part, Pebs. I'm like kind of
Yeah.
pointing at the screen, like you can see.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, just like in that first third of the shield at the bottom, there's a big, like right obvious is a well. Anyways, yeah, those are always things you got to watch out for. When I was talking on Zach's Discord this morning, or my morning, this morning, would have been his evening on his end, but about sanding. And someone was asking about sanding prior to priming, and it's one of the reasons why you sand before you prime, so that you can find these things before you end up clear coating something and putting it in a photograph. And oh my God, I didn't see that before, but and now everybody sees it. So
Yes. Okay. So unfortunately, we are 2 hours in. We only made it halfway through the G's. Because there was
well, we did D, E, F, and half a G.
Yeah.
yes. So D, F, and half a G. So
Okay.
that's not too bad. I'm sure. So Zach, you're doing another stream for the weathered and the clean stuff, right? With Adam.
Well, as far as what we have planned so far, yeah, Mike and Aaron and I are planning on doing another stream for the weathered, but as far as what else we can do clean, we don't have anything planned yet, but we certainly can, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something we should probably talk about, just because I feel like everybody kind of deserves
Sure, yeah, totally.
a little bit more feedback. But yeah, so we are gonna stop here for now, and then hopefully we'll hash something out and figure out how we can get everybody's builds onto the show, and then try to talk about it some more. But let's go ahead and go through the roundtable, say where everybody can find everybody. So let's start with Bruce Wayne over here.
I am the knight.
I am the terror that quacks in the dark.
Just keep it on my face. They can talk. I'm just gonna keep my mouth moving. But hey guys, thank you very much for hanging out. I'm Ronan. If you need me to tell you suck, you know where to find me. Outside of that, I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Z. Always a pleasure. And then we got
That freaking goofy guy. Hey guys, I'm Brian. I go by Bro Builder sometimes, but my channel is called Kodo Kai. I host the Robo Dojo on Tuesdays and Thursdays normally. But as I've been moving to New Jersey, my life is utter chaos. So hopefully soon I will be back to my normal streaming schedule, but I will be on any other streams to add notes or comments or look at your guys' cool stuff that you make, because I like making cool stuff too, and it's better that we all work together to be better together. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you all.
hell yeah. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. All right, Leo.
You can find me on the internet. It's Clipping Nubs. I'll talk to you with my words. Thanks for having a great competition. I'm glad so many people entered. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about, a lot of cool stuff to see. And I'll see you next week.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Julio.
Yep.
All right. Timothy.
How are you?
This man's falling asleep, man. Don't pull the Z.
That's a me.
Anyway,
It's a Brian.
Child of Mecca. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. You can catch Mechanism, our group talk show, every other week. And yeah, what did we learn tonight, kids? Don't paint it black. Watch your basics. And
Black background.
Black background. Yeah, those are the 3 big ones for me.
Which child of Mecha are you?
The one and only.
How much anime do you watch?
Fucking none.
Exactly. Makes no sense to me at all. Child of
Goddamn
Mecha but doesn't
weebs.
watch anime. I don't know.
Anime, the fucking none and only. All right.
Fucking weebs. Jesus. No, I watch a little bit. I admit it. I watch a
No,
little
fuck-
bit here and there.
I know. I'm
Some-
fucking with you, brother. I'm
some
fucking-
Gundam
Live or something, right?
Stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah. Crawl before you walk, kids.
Get them
Seriously.
basics. Get them basics.
Yeah. The basics are
Just a guy.
massively. Oh, it's the Jesta guy.
You're damn right.
Not the GBWC champion guy. The Jesta guy.
Just
Cheers.
a guy.
Yeah.
We ain't touching that. Nope.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm 3 years in at this point. I'm still the fucking champion. So
Get it?
That's because
Get
there
it.
hasn't been a comp.
So what, Brian? It's semantics. Shut up.
I'm right here with you, brother. I'm right here with
3
you.
years running.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you for spending your day with us. I know it's been a long one.
Get me off camera.
All right. And finally, Zach, I don't think anybody knows where to find you, but you might as well.
Yeah, you can find me around everywhere. And I just want to take this moment to make an announcement that all this coming week, live over on my channel, I'll be working on this kit every day.
Oh,
So
cool.
I wanted to stream like the entire process. So
Damn, that's
I'll
great.
stream, like, some painting as well too. This guy.
yeah,
So
Oh, yeah.
cracking the vocal.
Hasagawa?
That's tight.
Wave. This one's wave.
The
Yeah.
wave.
But if you want Hasagawa, the reason why I'm spending all week working on that one is because this came in from Hasagawa, this gigantic.
Oh, camel. Beauty.
Nice, dude.
Let me show you guys.
Damn.
I saw a falk in the wild today, the same spot that I got my kids.
Oh, yeah?
I almost
Zach,
bought it.
as somebody says, it's the Korean jumper.
Look at that! Wow.
Okay, yeah, I'm
That
that Korean
YouTube.
guy.
It's that YouTube guy.
Look how big those parts are.
That's a
Damn.
big old shell, dude.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome, Zach.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I'm really
Wait,
excited.
is that Mecha Gaikatsu?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Same hands, hand twins.
No, I've been seeing people keep talking about his nails recently. I don't know. He's got long fingernails or something.
That's those Irish nails. You don't want to mess with those.
The fake
Hey,
accent.
man. I'm Irish. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's not. I've never heard that accent anywhere in my life before.
It's definitely Irish. It's definitely there. All right. So let's go back to
Thank
me.
you.
All right. So for everybody, everybody watched, everybody that joined us, big, huge thank you. Well, first of all, thank you to Zach and Sam for spending time with us to talk about these builds. We will definitely talk about when or if it's feasible to be able to go through the others. And I'm sure it will be at some point. Hopefully the next one isn't going to be a long ass wait. We'll definitely figure it out. We will see you guys on the next one. I'll probably see you guys hopefully Thursday, Brian.
Yeah, tentatively Thursday. Well, I move Wednesday, and I work Thursday day in the city, so we'll see about Thursday night for the workbench. But
I mean,
We'll see you
We'll
on
figure it out.
Friday.
it'll be a bare bones stream at best, my friends, because I'll have a computer and a bunch of boxes.
that's fine. We'll work it out. All right.
So, real quick, if we don't actually get to another episode of all the other entries, you can always submit on Critical Builds, and
absolutely.
we can focus
Oh,
in on
absolutely.
your build all together. Yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
gives you an opportunity to talk a little bit about what you had intended with your build, and then that because of the subscription format. Subscription format. So
Submission.
Submission. Thank you. Submission format. Sorry, but yeah, because of that, you are allowed to obviously write down your thoughts and your intentions on things like that, and it gives us a little bit of a way to meter our criticisms and our commentary on your work if we know a little bit about what you're doing. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and then if you guys want to submit more specifically for a regular episode of Critical Builds, that is going to be on my Instagram profile as well as Critical Builds Instagram profile, which you guys should be able to find in the description below, which everybody's socials is on or in. So with that, guys, we will see you next time, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Take it easy.
Later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.